Wake Back to Bed, or WBTB for short, is a popular lucid dream induction technique and a perfect place to start discussing how to induce lucid dreams. This technique can be used on its own or in combination with other induction techniques. Wake Back to Bed, also known as sleep interruption, is performed by waking up after a defined period of time, usually 4.5 to 6 hours into your sleep, staying awake for a period of time, then returning to bed. This technique was first described by Stephen LaBerge, Leslie Phillips, and Lynn Leviton in a 1994 study. They found that taking a morning nap or returning to sleep after a period of wakefulness increased chances of lucid dreaming. LaBerge stated, "Getting up an hour early, staying awake for an hour or more, reading about lucid dreaming, doing mild, his signature lucid dream induction technique, briefly, then taking a morning nap is an excellent means of achieving lucid dreams. This technique is one of the most powerful, promising means of achieving lucidity." The name Wake Back to Bed is attributed to online lucid dream enthusiast Mark Van Keer in the early 2000s, who outlined the technique more precisely. First, we will go over how to perform the traditional Wake Back to Bed technique step by step. Then we will go over a couple of modifications to the technique, which I personally use and recommend. Set an alarm to wake you up after 4 to 6 hours of sleep. Alternatively, you can use auto-suggestion and set the intention to wake up after 4 to 6 hours. When calculating this time, try to time out when you expect to fall asleep approximately. If you get into bed at 10 but stay in bed reading or playing on your phone until 11, use 11 as your start time. The reason we aim for 4 to 6 hours after sleep onset is because REM sleep increases as the night progresses. If you need to, take a minute to review the sleep cycle in the previous section of this course. We want to take advantage of our sleep cycle and position our lucid dream attempt as close to REM sleep as we can. Lucid dream induction techniques are always infinitely more effective when performed close to or in the middle of an REM period. I don't recommend performing lucid dream induction techniques when you first go to sleep. Think about it. If you are setting an intention to do something or remember something, say pick up eggs at the store for example, you are way more likely to remember to pick up those eggs if you go to the store in the next 10 minutes as opposed to waiting for an hour and a half. The same goes for inducing lucid dreams. You are way more likely to realize you are dreaming if you set the intention to do so 10 minutes before a dream starts, as opposed to setting your intention, then losing consciousness for an hour and a half waiting for your REM period to begin. Also, we want to avoid disturbing our deep, restorative sleep that occurs earlier in the night if we can help it. Dreams are longer and more frequent in the second half of the night, and performing a lucid dream technique closer to REM increases your chances of success greatly. Step 2. Get out of your bed and stay awake for 30 to 60 minutes. This will introduce some wakefulness into your sleepy brain. Stephen LaBerge's study found the greatest impacts to lucidity occurred between 30 to 60 minutes of wakefulness. A separate study conducted by Daniel Alaka and Taras Strumbris in 2020 found the ideal wakefulness time to be between 30 and 120 minutes. This is quite a broad range. This period of wakefulness is one of the many times you will need to tinker and experiment with when learning to lucid dream. For light sleepers like myself, it may not be a good idea to stay awake for more than 30 minutes, or it will be a huge effort to return to sleep. Everyone is different, and you will need to find the time that works for you. Step 3. So what do you do for the 30 to 60 minutes that you are awake? Perform activities to get you into lucid dreaming mode. Reread your dream journal. Get inspired by some of your dream world adventures. Plan your next lucid dream. What are you going to do once you are lucid? Work on a list of lucid dream goals. Read books and articles about lucid dreaming. The idea is to soak your brain with thoughts of lucid dreams and really ramp up your desire to lucid dream. Another great option is to meditate. Meditation is great for stimulating an awake and engaged mind, as well as increasing your focus and self-awareness. Step 4 is the easiest: return to sleep. This is what Stephen LaBerge referred to as a morning nap. This period of wakefulness will carry some mental wakefulness into your sleep. Your brain is also soaked with lucid dreaming, and this should carry over into sleep as well. Due to the timing of this technique, you can look forward to plenty of REM sleep when you return to bed. The combination of mental wakefulness, lucid dreaming on the brain, and a big block of REM sleep on the way is what makes the Wake Back to Bed technique effective. This is where the official Wake Back to Bed standalone technique ends. From here, I would recommend combining with another lucid dream induction technique. We will discuss some slight alterations to the technique in a moment. There are a few considerations you need to take into account when implementing the Wake Back to Bed technique. The first is time considerations. Not everyone has a sleep schedule that will allow for an extra 30 minutes to an hour of wakefulness in the middle of the night. We all live busy lives, and it can be hard enough to allot for the proper 7 to 8 hours of recommended sleep, let alone an extra hour. If you have young children or work a rotating shift, it can be difficult to nail down a consistent sleep schedule. The second consideration is how long it will take you to fall back asleep when returning to bed. Are you a light sleeper? Does it take you a while to fall back asleep after you've been awake for a considerable amount of time? For me personally, I can't be awake for more than 10 or 15 minutes before it becomes difficult for me to return to sleep. If you're the kind of person who can fall asleep at the drop of a hat, you are in the clear. A big consideration is the fact that the Wake Back to Bed technique can disturb your sleep cycle if performed too frequently. This technique should not be performed every night. You will quickly disturb your natural sleep cycle and wreak havoc on your quality of sleep. Healthy sleep should always be your number one priority over lucid dream induction. Wake Back to Bed is more of a weekend thing rather than an all-the-time thing, or if you find yourself with some extra time to sleep in the morning. Consider modifying the Wake Back to Bed technique to be less disruptive to your sleep. This is the version of Wake Back to Bed that I recommend and personally use every night when I induce lucid dreams. I set an alarm to wake me after 4.5 to 6 hours of sleep to put me right in the middle of prime REM periods. This is why it's so important to map out your sleep cycle, or at least have a general idea of when your REM periods are. You can set an alarm to wake you directly before or even right in the middle of an REM period. This maximizes the chances of your lucid dream technique to succeed. Finding the sweet spot takes some experimentation. Experimentation is a key concept when learning to lucid dream, and we mention it often. For notes in your dream journal, use trial and error and find the time that works best for you. For me, I find that waking up after about 5 to 5.5 hours of sleep puts me in the vicinity of REM. In the next section of this course, we will have a sleep cycle demonstration and go over how exactly to map out your sleep cycle. Moving on, after I wake up, I stay awake for only 5 to 15 minutes. In this time, I record a dream that I had or get up to use the restroom or get a drink. It is important that you physically get out of bed. The goal is to wake yourself enough to attain some mental clarity before performing another lucid dream induction technique. You are mentally awake enough to focus and perform a technique effectively, but sleepy enough that you will fall asleep rather quickly. Experiment with how long you stay awake. A sweet spot for me is about 5 minutes. But pay attention to how your mind feels. Wait long enough for the mental fuzziness to subside. Now return to bed and perform your preferred lucid dream induction techniques. According to the International Lucid Dream Induction Study, a significant increase in lucid dreaming was observed when combining WBTB, mild, and reality check methods with lucid dreaming reported on 17.4% of nights in week 2 compared to 9.4% of nights in week 1. That is pretty impressive for only 2 weeks of practice. I wonder what the success rates would be like if the study was conducted for a longer period of time. Wake Back to Bed is an essential tool for inducing lucid dreams and one of the most widely known lucid dream induction techniques. This technique is most effective when combined with other lucid dream techniques. A traditional wake back to bed when you stay awake for 30 to 60 minutes or more should not be performed every night, as it will lead to disturbances in your sleep cycle. I recommend a modified wake back to bed where you stay awake just long enough to attain some mental clarity, then combining with another lucid dream technique. I always recommend a modified wake back to bed as part of a broader lucid dreaming strategy. Waking up after 4.5 to 6 hours puts you right in the vicinity of prime REM time and is always more effective than performing your lucid dream techniques when you first go to bed.